Welcome to Bob's Sales Camp. I'm Bob Kimball. This was Mod 3, Communication and Relationships. Here's the thing, let's get this straight from the very beginning. Relationships are the key to success in selling. And in doing that, command respect. Do what you say you'll do. Respect confidentiality in people. And be a person that other people like to do business with. Here's another thing. Never say, I couldn't help it, it's not my fault, you can't blame me. Even if it's not your fault, just fix it on this thing here. Here's the thing. There's also a place for business gestures when you don't expect anything in return, though sort of you do. You can go to the most hard-driven driver that you know. You know what? That person may well have a little 4-year-old daughter, and you're giving away, as part of one of your promotions, little teddy bears and stuff like this. Son of a gun. Bring in something into their office. Hey, we got a promo going on this sort of thing here. Thought your daughter might enjoy this. A little gesture like that. Something like that. That can be good. Here's another thing too. Cultivate relationships with people outside the business suite. They're the ones who really know what's going on. The people on the front lines, in production, all of these things, logistics, all of these people. Yeah, stay in touch with those folks and all that. And regarding communication, double negative. You cannot not communicate. It's 24/7. You're doing it all the time. Okay, you're face to face with someone, clearly you're communicating. Am I telling you that when you're not with that person, you're still communicating? Yeah, there's communication that's going on even when you're not present. Think of the situation you might have had with a significant other. You had a bit of an argument or something. You're ostensibly not speaking. Are you telling me there's no communication going on between the two of you? You can just hear it fluttering through the air and stuff like that. And here's the part of this thing here. What if you don't bother to make a call? Don't send a card. Don't send a thank you note between calls. It says something. You're communicating with something. So be a regular source of information to these people. Be of value to them. Be something that's an asset to their business on a regular basis. Don't just drop in the day of a sales call. Here's another thing too we got to think about as well. The message you're conveying is a combination of its content and your relationship with the other party. And the relationship you have with them is going to affect the way that information is interpreted. So, question you got to ask yourself, have you developed trust, respect, and credibility with this other side? I have to tell a story here of the person that was my coach and mentor, the person that did more for me than anybody else in my whole time, my 13 years at Coca-Cola, Don Wilson. Don was someone, well, Don helped me grow up, which was certainly about time that I did that. But the other thing was that Don really showed me something about how to work with other people and get along with others. He started that when he was 18 years old. Yeah, Don started working the company at 18. In fact, he was the last person at the company who became a vice president without a college degree. At 18, he's off in Iowa as a field sales rep. And he was telling me the story one time of the fact that he was with a bottler out in Iowa, and the person kind of looked at him and says, "Son, I've been running this plant for 30 years. You don't look like you're old enough to even have shaved yet. What have you got to offer to me?" Wilson's answer, which I think was a classic, was, "Sir, I'm here to learn." And that's the kind of set that helped build credibility with him, with that person there. And another thing too, it's a combination of its verbal and its nonverbal elements. And as I'm just going through rereading Roger Ailes' book, You Are the Message, ineffective nonverbal communication, folks, will put you out of the game in 7 seconds. So let's look at some points here on nonverbal communication. Clothing, for starters, pretty obvious. Make it appropriate to the prospect and the situation. So you're not going to wear shorts and a polo shirt to call on an attorney. And also don't wear a tux to call at Home Depot. Your eyes. Maintain positive eye contact. Don't look down or away. Except there are times in which you can play to that. Let's say that they hit you with something, you weren't expecting it. You're gonna look like a deer in the headlights? No, you need some time. Make it look as though you're having to think it over a bit. You can say something like that. That's interesting. Yeah, I think we could do something about that. You bite yourself that couple of seconds to think, oh my goodness, what am I going to say here? Yeah, something like that. On a regular basis, that sort of tactic. When you're trying to think something through, you can be sitting there and saying, I think we can do something. Yes, we can do something about that. It looks spontaneous, but it's all part of your presentation, like this thing here. Same thing with your gestures. Gotta look alive, look involved. They should, again, look spontaneous and unrehearsed, but of course they're not. So let's look at a couple of examples that illustrate the points we've talked about here, that we've addressed so far in Bob's sales camp. From my field sales at Coca-Cola, here was a situation that we ran across at one point. Let's say, I'll just present the situation to you. You're calling on a service station in a busy intersection. Very high volume for gas sales. Their prices are 3 cents a gallon lower than anybody else in the neighborhood. They do tune-ups and repair work in 4 service bays that they have. Your objective, calling on from Coca-Cola USA, is to convince the owner to allow you to build an enclosed refreshment center on the side of the station property, where it can be seen from the gas pumps. You propose to basically place a machine for canned soft drinks, another for juices, sports drinks, another for crackers. Here's the thing. You're going to erect this whole thing in an enclosure. You're going to supply the equipment at no charge to the owner, and you're going to pay them a share of the profits on a regular basis. Similar accounts, you find they make about $40 a week, and they don't have to do a thing and all that. So you go in there, you find the owner, you start talking about it, the idea you've got for putting some refreshment centers and snacky stuff like that on the side of the property, and the reaction you get is, oh, no way, we've been there, we done that. And you kind of go, what? I said, no, that does not work here. I'm running my gas 3 cents a gallon cheaper than anybody else in town. I got to run them through and get them through there. What happens to them, they're sitting there with their car at the gas pump. They decide to go get a can of pop. While they go get a can of pop, the car is sitting there and it's blocking the gas pump. So I make a dime on the sale of a can of pop, but I'm losing $1 in a gas sale. I lose money on that thing, on something like that. Well, you say, we could put up signs, urge them to move their car when they're going to go to the refreshment center. His reaction again, we did that. We had put up all the signs. They ignore them. They don't make any difference. We could put them in different locations here. That we've tried all the locations. They still has the same situation. All this. Oh, how about? Well, your employees would like to have it, and he hammers you again. My employees don't need it. They got a refrigerator in the back. Well, how about your customers? Would be something nice for your customers when they're getting the car working on something like that, and the person just screams at you like that. No, I don't want customers hanging around here at all. Those service bays, that's where I make my money. Sure, the gas, it pays the light, it pays the rent. The service bay, I take he's getting $100 an hour. The last thing I want is customers hanging around here, bothering them. No way do I want that. And all of a sudden, you're looking at yourself in the middle of this situation, and you say to yourself, whoa, wait a minute. I'm just putting the focus on me and my product. Listen, you idiot. Listen to what this person is about, how they like to buy. I'm dealing with an expressive here. All right, part of dealing with an expressive. I want to become part of their dreams. Well, the cheap gas. You're not having the cheap gas just to get them in so they take off and leave. It's sort of an analogy to that would be, oh, last week at Winn-Dixie, that was a good time. Chicken thighs, $1.29 a pound. Strawberries, buy one, get one free. Grape tomatoes, buy one, get one free. Oh, I went in, I just got all that stuff. But Winn-Dixie is not running that deal to have me go in there and just buy the specials and leave. They get me in the store, so they hope I'm going to buy some other stuff, which I did, as a matter of fact, like this. You sort of show them that analogy and say, son of a gun. When you're having this good cheap gas like this, it brings them in here. Wouldn't you like to think that some of these people might be candidates for your service bays to rebuild your business and things like this here? Here's the thing. Get them talking about it, about this. Well, tell me, how often do they block the pumps in this? About every 20 minutes? Yeah, okay, 20 minutes. So that's 3 an hour. So you're open 12 hours. That's 36 people a day do this. So in a month, there's 1,000 people that block the pumps and go back and forth. And yeah, 1,000 people. Now think about this. You get a chance to talk to them when they get out of their car. You might point out, hey, your wiper blade there is getting a little fluffy and all that. Or you got a tire that's getting down there and worn on the side or something like that. You get a chance to engage them in a conversation. Now let's just say that 1 out of 100 of these people that you could engage would turn out to be a customer in your service bay. That is 10 new customers a month. That sure makes up for the money you're losing on your refreshment center, isn't it? Hey, that's right. It's a loss. There's a lot of times you're going into someone with an idea that you think it's a profitable deal for them, and you're getting hammered and all this. Wait a second. You might be better off to say, okay, you're right, you are losing money on it. If you've got intangibles that more than counter that, so you don't have to argue against what the return on investment is. Don't have to. Give it to them. Let them have that one. And talk about, so son of a gun, when you look at this thing here, the money you're losing on this refreshment center, you're more than making up for the business you're building in the service bay, aren't you? Now notice how I made that a question. You're more than making it up in your service bay, aren't you? Little tie down. Question makes it a question, something like that. So it's net a win overall on something like this. Let's look at a parallel situation, a little closer to home. So let's say that you're a sales rep for Circuits. You're a leading producer and distributor of video games marketed to independent outlets. You're calling today on Clyde Frump, who's the owner-manager of Crossroads Grocery, a small independent convenience store in Diddy, Florida. And what your objective is today is get Clyde to install 3 of your video games in his store. They'll take about 10 square feet, should generate revenues of maybe $200 a month. No charge for the machines. You split the profits 50-50, something like this. So you go in there, you sit there, Clyde's sitting on the porch, you introduce yourself and talk about what you're doing with video games for his store or something like that, and he kind of laughs at us. No, I don't do video games. That's way past me. I mean, I'm checkers as far as I go. That's all I care to do. But hey, tell me about you. Where are you from? Are you from Diddy here? Starts engaging you in a conversation. Wants to talk about the weather. Oh, Lord, that rain we had last week, that was really something. Son of a gun, I can't believe all the puddles I got in my yard. You quickly realize, if you're focusing on the prospect, you're dealing with a consummate amiable here. So don't hurry. Let them talk. They wind up going off and spending 30 minutes telling you about their life story, about the 40 years they've had this store, something like this here, how used to run it with you and him and his wife, but she went to her great reward about 4 years ago, and she got some friends who would come by and play checkers with you, so that would keep you doing like that. You don't need extra money on this or anything like that, just have friends come by. Don't have quite so many friends coming by anymore. A lot of them have gone to their great reward, or they've gone to the rest area in the community like this, and so that's kind of what they're doing. So, son of a gun, hey, wait a second. We've got them talking about all these sorts of things here. Let's keep in mind, from all the things you're getting out of this here, and amiable is focusing on involvement with people and relationships. Keep them talking. Well, what else do you do here all day? And he goes on and starts talking about the fact, well, I just sit on my porch out here. It's interesting because I got a lot of kids going by here. They got the school bus stop down the road, stuff like this. So they get out. I see them pretty much, and they're coming back from school at the end of the day and stuff like that. But other than that, business is pretty slow, but that's fine. I'm good. My Social Security and all that is good with me and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, you begin to see, son of a gun, I may have something here that would really appeal to this person, because these kids are walking by. You wave hello to them. They ever come in? No. I'll bet if you put some video games in here like this, they might drop in every once in a while. And you know what? With the money that you're making on this, I'll bet you could take them and give them some treats. And you're still going to wind up coming out ahead. And you could get in some real nice conversations with these kids. See where I'm coming from, people? We're not necessarily going to talk about return on investment and profits and stuff like that. What this person would care about, who's losing the people in his life, would be the opportunity to have some people come by and visit with him. So that's our way. That's how we can get this done. Keep in mind, every situation is different, but this is a process that you can apply as a sales pro. So this was Mod 3, Communication and Relationships. And this is Bob's Sales Camp.